America. I believe Extractor is coming up also. With the many miles of coastline there, you see some of the many thousands of spectators lining the beach to get an excellent vantage viewing point for today's race. Makes it very exciting for the viewing spectator today, as well as the many thousand spectator boats who have come out to view this. There you look back on the pack. Extractor is there, Panama Jack, Main Attraction, Agitator, Rave On, Spirit of America. Extractor right there in the middle of the pack, your fifth boat. Panama Jack on the inside, Main Attraction on the inside of him. Here comes Panama Jack, Agitator, Rave On. All the boats are lined up quite nicely. You see quite a few skaters in your picture. This should be a great day of racing for the Cats. It's going to be relatively calm, and they should really be able to make some headway. We've got a great day of racing today, and we're very excited about it. They look very clean right there. They're coming out nicely. They're on plane, and we've got racing now. We've got it, and we are on our way. That's Panama Jack, Main Attraction, Agitator, going right out to a quick lead. That's Extractor on the far outside of your picture, the modified boat from Long Island, New York, who came down here for today. What a beautiful sight that is, with a hotel in the background, the boats going by. That's a picture worth framing, I must admit. We're really going right here. That's Spirit of America on the inside. Panama Jack is there, Main Attraction, Agitator, Rave On. On the outside, that was Extractor, who looked like he got off to a very fine start. Now we're coming back to the divisional boats, who are coming up on plane right now for their start. This will be Class A, B, C, D, all your divisional boats. Rev It Up, Regal Velocity, Turn of the Century. M&M will be here. Heat is on. US1 Boat Manufacturing, Raja. They're all out here in the divisional races. Starting to come up on plane right now. In the other start, Panama Jack, Main Attraction, Extractor, Agitator, Rave On, Spirit of America. They're all still dueling at the head of the pack. It's still too early to see who'll be able to establish dominance and take a lead. There's ST Enterprise in the bottom of your picture. The heat is on, that brightly colored yellow boat in the middle of the picture. US1 on the outside. They're all here. M&M, heat is on. Raja. We should be getting some good racing right now. High risk, that yellow skater on the very far outside of the course. Looks like M&M, heat is on. Spirit, US1 Boat Manufacturing, Raja. Pace boat with the yellow flag up. St. Petersburg Beach in the background. You couldn't have asked for a better day for offshore powerboat racing. It has all come together this summer for Sunfest 88 here in St. Pete with this great offshore powerboat race. Look at that pack of boats right there. The heat is on. Raja. We've got the green flag, and we've got racing in the divisional class. Discontent and Fair Warning jump out to an early lead, as you can see right there. And here we're going to come up on Discontent race team, off to a very quick start with Fair Warning slightly ahead of him. Excellent bit of racing right here. They got off to a very clean start. This is C11, the Discontent race team, in the bottom of your picture that we're coming up on now for a very up close and personal view with them. C11, it is a 25-foot red and black Motion. This boat is powered by twin 260 horsepower Mercury EFI outboard racing engines. This boat is owned and throttled by SJ Jim Vaccaro from Clearwater, Florida, and driving today is Alan French from Largo, Florida. This boat is sponsored by Clearwater Discount Marine in Clearwater, Florida. This is Jim Vaccaro's first race on throttles, and he's very excited about it today. Discontent Race Team is having a great campaign in the 88 Sundays Gold Cup Series. They're looking very good in class. They're presently in third place. They took a first place at Panama City and a second place in Sundays on the Bay. So with a strong performance here in class, they can have a very strong point lead going into the fourth and final leg at Holiday Isle to be held later on this year. But right now their competition is going to be very tough. Discontent will be fighting with Enterprise, Lightning, and they certainly are going to have their work cut out for them today. Blackjack is also going to be tough. Black Sunday, Raja, High Risk, they're all going to be there, so anything is possible in today's race. But right now we're going to stay with the Discontent race team as they charge on and try to overtake Fair Warning for the early lead in today's race. From St. Petersburg Beach, Florida, the Discontent race team. Discontent race team having a very fine run right now. This boat is dialed in quite nicely, as you can see, and is performing very admirably. Right there in your picture, that is US1 Boat Manufacturing. Bernie Gonzalez on throttles and looking very tough. And trying to come up on him is the 28 Pantera known as Black Sunday. So in the front of your picture is Black Sunday, who's chasing US1 Boat Manufacturing. US1 Boat Manufacturing, a D-class boat, having a good run, but we're going to stay right here with Black Sunday. This boat is C76. It is a 28-foot Black Pantera, powered by 3 Mercury 275 horsepower outboards. This boat is owned by Loreno Morales from Miami. He's got Danny Martinez as his driver, and Fernando Morales is on throttles. The Black Sunday boat is looking very strong right now. There you see them closing the gap between their boat and the US1 Boat Manufacturing boat, who is slightly ahead of them at this point in the race. Different class boats, so there's no need to worry right here. Black Sunday is looking very comfortable right now. They're even closing the gap even more right now. Black Sunday took a second place in Sundays on the Bay, so with a strong performance here, it will certainly be to their advantage, putting them in a very competitive class for the final race. And they'll be dueling today with Blackjack, Raja, and High Risk. So Black Sunday, with a strong finish here, as I said, could really look very strong going into our 4th and final race at Holiday Isle. So as you can see, the importance of today's race in St. Petersburg is very critical for a lot of these race boats. Let's just sit back and watch 2 great racers go at it. You've got Black Sunday in our screen right now, closing the gap between himself and US1 Boat Manufacturer's Benny Gonzalez. Black Sunday race team from St. Petersburg Beach, Florida. From Black Sunday, we're going to head up to US1 Boat Manufacturing. This boat is owned and throttled by Bernie Gonzalez from Miami, Florida. But here we're still Black Sunday, and there you get an idea of the distance between those 2 boats right there. Bernie Gonzalez is D11. This all-black US1 Boat Manufacturing 30-footer is powered by twin 400 horsepower Mercury United Racing engines with Merc number 3 speed outdrives. This boat is driven by Richard Conti of Miami, Florida, and on throttles right there, as you see him, Bernie Gonzalez, and he is really having a good time today. Conti doing his bit on the driving, and Gonzalez right there acknowledging his presence to us that he feels very confident right now about this boat. Bernie is building a brand new 35-foot US1 boat manufacturing catamaran, which we hope to see for its maiden voyage in Key West in the World Championships later on this year. There you see Bernie aligning the driver on the race course to make the necessary corrections to head for the next checkpoint. But right now this boat is doing everything it can to have a good run. Bernie Gonzalez has taken a 3rd place in Panama City and a 3rd place in Sundays on the Bay already this year. So with a strong finish here, it could put him in 1st place in class. We'll have to just wait and see. Right now he is presently running in the top 3 boats in his class, so with a strong finish here, as I said, it could really help catapult him into the lead and solidify his position in D class. US1 Boat Manufacturing, Bernie Gonzalez, a great builder, a great competitor, and overall a great guy to have out here on the offshore powerboat circuit. Bernie Gonzalez from Miami, Florida. Listen, those United Racing engines put out the power. Bernie's really got those throttles moving right now, and he's doing his job quite admirably right now. We're all looking forward to seeing US1 Boat Manufacturing at Isle Morada, and we're certainly looking forward to Bernie's brand new catamaran, which will be unveiled at Key West later on this year in the World Championships. Bernie Gonzalez's US1 Boat Manufacturing. That was Black Sunday, and right now we're coming up on C100. The heat is on. The all-bright yellow boat. This is a 32-foot all-yellow V-hull Manta powered by twin 650 horsepower Mercury inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. That's US1 Boat Manufacturing, Bernie Gonzalez in the lead, and Black Sunday in 2nd place. Good bit of racing right here. The heat is on, Black Sunday and US1 Boat Manufacturing. We're going to stay with a C100 heat is on boat. They took a 5th place in Panama and a 1st place in Sundays on the Bay already this year. So they're looking very good in their class right now. That 1st place really helped him out, and it could really, he's presently in 1st place in class with a slight lead over SC Enterprise, so we want to have them have a very good race. This boat is driven by Scott Lehman from Boca Raton, Florida. It is navigated by Terry Mims from Valrico, Florida. And on throttles, and your owner of this boat is John Provenzano from Tampa, Florida. Provenzano, as the heat is on, is having a very good day. There you see the crew right there, a close-up of that crew. Provenzano along with Mims and Lehman making up the heat is on race crew. What a shot that was by our cameraman. This boat is rigged at Tampa Bay Marine, and they've done a fine job. That's Black Sunday on the outside, the heat is on the inside, and Gonzalez's US1 Boat Manufacturing still holding on to a slight lead over these 2 boats. But as you can see, Provenzano's heat is on is taking a slight lead right now over Black Sunday. This race is living up to its advanced billing. We've got some very close competition, and the caliber of racing is really astounding right here at this point in time. The heat is on race team having a good day. Provenzano's heat is on race team looking very strong. As they head towards our checkpoint, you've got Gonzalez's US1 Boat Manufacturing on the outside. The heat is on coming in on the inside. As they go underneath the helicopter, you see the heat is on, was able to make up some ground on Gonzalez's US1 Boat Manufacturing, and that's Black Sunday in third place in that group of boats. Look at the many thousands of spectator boats on the left-hand side of your screen. They're really getting their money's worth today. Right here we have another boat. It's C-27, the boat known as Blackjack. This boat is owned by Marshall Ives, who is also on the throttles. Who can forget some of the great races that Marshall Ives has provided us with over the years? Marshall Ives, your owner throttle man from Miami. He's got Andrew Ives as his navigator from Miami, and Dale Simmons is doing the driving today. Blackjack race team. It's a 28-foot fiberglass black hull mounted with a white deck, powered by three 240 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. The Blackjack race team took a 4th place in Panama and a 1st place in Sundays at the Bay already this year. They're looking very strong. They have over 400 points right now, and they're relatively in about 3rd or 4th place right now in C-Class. So if Blackjack can have a good race here today, he will certainly solidify his standings as we head into the final race of the campaign this year. He'll be dueling with Black Sunday, who you saw earlier on. He's trying to close the gap between himself and that boat. Also, Raja and High Risk will be challenging in the C-Class division all day. So Marshall Ives certainly has his work cut out for him, but he is an experienced veteran racer, and we wish him all the best down here in St. Petersburg Beach, Florida. So with that, we'll just sit back and enjoy C-27, the Blackjack racing team headed up by Marshall Ives. There you see John Provenzano's old boat, the Loran Bandit race boat. Right now this is going to be used as a medical boat. And here we come up on one of the hottest boats in the 88 campaign. From the New York area, M25, the boat known as Extractor. This 32-foot superboat cat is powered by twin 600 horsepower Zool racing motors. This boat is owned and throttled by Jim Lavsnowski. He's got Al Shabelli as his driver and Tommy Rizzo as the navigator. Just for 1988, the Extractor race team in the Northeast Circuit has taken a 1st at Freeport, Long Island, a 1st at the Showboat Classic, Greenwich, Connecticut, a 1st at Point Pleasant, and a 1st at Barnegat Bay in New Jersey. This guy is tearing up the 88 campaign. You've seen him over many years racing. He's been at the World Champions, he's been in Key West, he's done it all. This 32-foot Superboat cat, which was helped being built by Jeff Girardi, our cameraman of Superboat in Long Island, is a real proven race boat. And with those Ritchie Zool racing motors, it's doing it all this year. Al Shabelli is also of Marine Wise Limited, who is a offshore dealer for Warlock, Scorpion, Talon, Seahawk, and Merc Cruiser products, new and used boat sales. Shabelli's Marine Wise has been helping out with this crew. So Jim Lavsnowski, a model of excellence, is looking very strong right now. He would love to come down here and show the people down in St. Petersburg Beach, Florida, what kind of racing is going on in the New York metropolitan area. There you see your navigator, Tommy Rizzo, acknowledging the helicopter and just getting Al Shabelli where he's got to be on the race course, and Jim Lavsnowski's doing all the throttling. From St. Petersburg Beach, Florida, M25, the Extractor race team. Listen to those motors go and Lavsnowski's throttling technique. As he runs that checkpoint, the Extractor race team is enjoying a fine day. He's presently first place in class and first place overall. There you see him going under one of the race coverage helicopters right there. So you can just get, I imagine, an idea of the speeds that Extractor is traveling. Speeds in excess of 90 miles per hour. This boat can run well over 100 miles per hour consistently if he is pushed to the limit. That Spirit of America, smaller boat on the outside. As they go by some of the many thousands of spectator fleets, as you can see, Extractor is enjoying a wonderful day of offshore powerboat racing. The people of St. Petersburg Beach are really getting a show from the Extractor race team today. Just listen to what this boat does. B16, turn of the century race team. There's a 26-foot deep V Century hull powered by two 320 horsepower Mercury inboards. On the outside, that is Spirit of America going by turn of the century. Different classes, so no need to worry. Turn of the century. This boat is owned by Century Boats from Panama City. Your driver today is Joe Sorrentino Sr. from Lauderhill, Florida. Navigator is Joe Sorrentino also. And on throttles, you've got Skip Kreiner from Hollywood, Florida. So you've got the Sorrentinos. That's Joe Sorrentino Sr. as your driver, Junior Navigator, and Skip Kreiner on the throttles for the Turn of the Century race team. Turn of the Century race team is going to have tough competition all day in B class. Regal Velocity and Wizard will be challenging, I'm sure, throughout the day. Turn of the Century has had a relatively successful 88 Gold Cup Series. They've taken a third place in Panama City, and they had a second place finish at Sundays on the Bay in Miami. There you get a nice overhead aerial shot of B16, the entire Turn of the Century race crew and the appointments of that boat. Very good camera work right there. Look at the close-up of the work on the throttles, the navigator doing his thing, and the driver holding on to the steering wheel. You see the course taped out to the dashboard of this boat, and they just look very confident and comfortable in there. The Turn of the Century race team looking very competitive right here. Turn of the Century race team enjoying a very fine run here today. As we leave them, we come up on an S boat. This boat is S15, Spirit of America 2. This all red, sleek 24-foot skater is powered by twin Mercury outboard motors, 2.4 EFIs. This boat is owned by John Antonelli from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Driving today is Scott Barber. And on throttles, you've got Nick Antonelli. The Spirit of America race team, S15. They're looking very strong right here. He's dueling with Main Attraction and Panama Jack in the S class. You've got Antonelli and Barber doing what they do best in the Spirit of America race team. Spirit of America took a 4th place in Panama City and a 1st place in Sundays at the Bay already this year. They're presently in 1st place in the stock class, so obviously with a good finish here today, it will certainly solidify things for Spirit of America as they head into the final race at Holiday Isle later on this year. But right now, this skater's got its kind of weather conditions. It's calm. The seas are very calm, as you can see. The Mercuries are doing what they do best, putting out the power for this boat and remaining an engine block of consistency. And they're looking very good right here. Antonelli and Barber, the Spirit of America race team, looking very competitive right here at this point in the race. We wish them all the best from St. Pete. Spirit of America 2 race team. Spirit of America having a very fine run. There's M&M race team right there, and just look how close they get to the beaches on St. Peter's Beach, Florida. Looking very good right there in St. Petersburg Beach. They're really enjoying it. On the far outside, that's High Risk, and on the inside, that's ST Enterprise. You saw M&M earlier on, ST Enterprise on the inside of your picture, and Felson's High Risk race team on the outside. Now we're going to come up and highlight the all-yellow boat C77. This 24-foot skater is known as High Risk Race Team. This boat is owned and driven by Richard Felsen from Great Neck, New York, and driving today is John Engel. Felsen doing the throttling, Engel doing the driving for High Risk. Many of you might recall Felsen's other boat, which he campaigns on the national circuit. It is also a skater, but it is white with red trim known as High Risk. But for today's Gold Coast Cup Series race, he wanted to come out and have a good run, so he bought basically what he calls his pleasure boat racing boat, and that is this all-yellow boat with the same name as High Risk. Felsen has been having a good year on the national campaign. This boat is maintained by Joey Imprescia of East Coast Marine up in New York, and the combination of Felsen's talents along with Impressia's help and rigging has really maintained and catapulted High Risk to the championship caliber racer that he has become through 87 and 88. As you can see, Felsen has a lot of experience, and the conditions are ideal for the 24-foot skaters, which you've been seeing all day. The High Risk Race Team is looking very good at this point in time. Let's sit back and enjoy Felsen, the true champion that he is, as he puts the High Risk race boat through its paces. As the race is reaching a little beyond the midpoint way, Lavznowski's Extractor is tearing it up in modified, holding off Agitator. Spirit of America is presently in first place, holding off Main Attraction, Panama Jack, and Stock. A-Class, Gulf Wind, Going Trimmin', Shortcut, all dueling. B-Class, Turn of the Century, Regal Velocity, Wizard going head-to-head. Felsen looking very good right here in your picture. D-Class, D11, Rev It Up, Spirit Special, all there. And in the tightly contested C-Class, it's too close to call between Blackjack, Black Sunday, Raja, and Felsen's High Risk Race Team right here trying to close the gap. C77, High Risk, looking very good. And in D-Class, it's Gonzalez's US1 Boat Manufacturing D11, who is still looking very strong in his class. This race is unfolding to be one of the best races we've had on the campaign. The race fans of St. Petersburg Beach, Florida are certainly not getting let down today. These races are going all out. It's a great day of racing, and right here we're on the stern of C77. You really get a good idea of the back engine business end of this race machine. C77, Rich Felsen's High Risk Race Team. Now we come up on your leader overall in points in P-Class. P40 Agitator. He's looking very good right here. This 32-foot Cougar is powered by three 250 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is driven today by Grant Ellsbury from Oak Brook, Illinois. On throttles, you've got Kirk Dunteman from Oak Brook, Illinois. Your driver of record, of course, being Alan Dunteman, also from Oak Brook, Illinois. P40 Agitator has just been enjoying a phenomenal season. They took a first place in Panama and a third place on Sundays, thus putting them in first place in points in the P-Class division this year. But today's another story. In P-Class today, there were not enough boats, so P40 Agitator Race Team had to move up and race in the M-Class. So he certainly has his work cut out for them, but Dunteman's really got this boat moving well. P40, the Agitator Race Team, and he certainly looks to agitate today. He's looking very confident right here. The Duntemans and Ellsbury in the Agitator Race Team. Agitator looking very good right here. Now as we come into the turn following Agitator, you've got Felson's high-risk race team coming in. And then you've got ST Enterprise following high risk. There you see ST Enterprise getting going again. And M&M Racing, the Marine Machine. For short, M&M. We're going to cut across over the checkpoint boat here, and we're going to highlight C38. This is the Marine Machine, M&M Racing. It is a 32-foot Midnight Express 1988 vintage model. This blue and light gray boat is powered by 3 Mercury outboard motors with 200 horsepower apiece. There you get a good look at it. C38 M&M, the Marine Machine. This is a brand new boat, and this is their first race. They've gotten sponsorship by Marine Machine and Mayfair Performance. This boat is owned and driven by Pedro Medina III. On throttles, he's got Brett May, and his navigator is Jesus Asquete. Pedro feels very indebted to his father for his support and inspiration, and all of the friends who have really been helping Pedro out. This is a brand new boat for Pedro, and he's really excited about being out on the open race course today. This entire crew hails from Miami, Florida, so basically they've just come out here to St. Petersburg Beach to show what their new boat is all about. The inspiration and help that his father has lent him, along with all the generosity and help from his friends, have really made M&M, the Marine Machine Performance Race Team, a very good-looking rookie boat. And you can see they're looking very strong and competitive right here. Mercury, those Mercury outboards are putting out the right amount of power for this boat. This 32-foot deep V hull is just what the doctor ordered, and Pedro feels very comfortable. Although at his first race he had very few rookie butterflies, as we detected earlier on in the pits, and right now he's just settled in and is performing like a true champion. From St. Petersburg Beach, Florida, it's the Marine Machine. Getting a little loose right there, but getting it back on plane. Overall, it looks like Pedro and the rest of the Marine Machine team is looking very good right here. They're doing a fine job for their rookie race. The Marine Machine, owned and driven by Pedro Medina III from Miami, Florida. We wish him all the best as the campaign continues. Right now we're coming up on D3. This is the Rev It Up race team. This is a 30-foot Chris Cat with a catamaran hull powered by twin 300 horsepower Johnson outboards. This boat is driven by Billy Sarceno from Fort Myers Beach, Florida. You've got John Carbona as your navigator from Fort Myers Beach. And on throttle, you've got Byron Hill from Fort Myers also. This boat is also owned by William Sarceno from Fort Myers Beach, Florida. The Rev It Up race team. And unfortunately, they seem to be revving it down right now. They're having a good run, and then all of a sudden, something mechanically must have given away in this race boat. You see him waving there, signaling everything is okay, but Rev It Up is definitely coming off plane and is revving the throttles back down to very low RPMs right now. Tough break for D3, the Rev It Up race team. They are out of the competition right now, and oh my goodness, speaking of a boat out of the competition, look at the heat is on race team. This is a tough break for Provenzano and the rest of his crew. Look at the destruction that has been wreaked upon this boat. We did not see what happened, but apparently from the look of it, looks like there was some sort of bow roll involved, and there you see the crew. They seem to be okay. The Offshore Powerboat Racing Association medical staff is there, and they seem to have done a great job in getting this crew on the heat is on to safety. They've done a fine job getting the medical boats out there. Immediate attention is being administered to Provenzano and his crew right now. Just some look at the thrust that boat must have undertaken. You see the entire racing harnesses and bolsters that the drivers stand in completely ripped out off their nuts and bolts that hold them down into the floor, and the entire race hatch and transom just caved in. Look at that, the engines and everything just ripped out, the bolsters ripped back, and this boat is under tow already and on its way back to the pits. A tough break for heat is on, but if there's any silver lining in this, it is that they're all okay. And now we come up on another boat. Party's over. This boat is B611, the party's over. They're chasing Regal Velocity, Turn of the Century, and Wizard. This is a 28-foot Seahawk powered by twin 270 horsepower Mercury outboards. This boat is owned by Gary Ballo, who is also doing the throttles from Boca Raton, Florida. His driver is Mark Shannon from Boca, and his navigator is Kurt Wilhelm, also from Boca. The crew of three of Shannon, Wilhelm, and Ballo making up the Party's Over race team. Party's Over race team took a 5th place at Sundays on the Bay recently. However, they were running in 1st place at the time when unfortunately they blew a prop, and that thus put them in the 5th place finish at Sundays. A tough break for Party's Over race team, but they certainly want to come out here and prove that this boat is no fluke, and they are a very competitive race team. The Party's Over race team. Well, at this point in the race, it's starting to wind down. Some boats have already finished, and we're going to start compiling our final results for today's race. So we're going to stay with Party's Over as they start heading towards the finish line and the completion of their run for today's race. We're going to stay with them, and we're going to just enjoy the run of Party's Over race team, and then after that, we'll be bringing you the final results and comments of today's race. Well, as we close out with parties over, many of the divisions are finished.